Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson and Jim Jonas of Veterans in Politics. We have four exciting shows today. First show is going to be with Robert Payan. He's going to discuss the misrepresentation and by a judicial candidate, Todd Leventhal, and how Mr. Leventhal stole $7,100 from him. And Todd Leventhal is a judicial candidate running for district court judge right now. Jim, you have anything?
Not really. Actually, it's been a busy week. A lot of stuff going on, new exciting things like
Construction.
Construction. Nothing really serious to rant about on right this second. Just happy to be here. Appreciate our guest coming on, Robert Payan. I know for guests, Wednesdays there's a lot of stuff that's going on, so appreciate you for coming in and enlightening people on some of these judicial candidates, because that's something that's very important. Like, I never really thought judges were that important until you brought it to my attention, and then unfortunately ran in.
He was only worried about U.S. Supreme Court.
Ran it, yeah, pretty much. Ran into some judges that, in my opinion, weren't doing their jobs. So just looking forward to our guest explaining what exactly happened.
We have a new Supreme Court justice for the United States, so congratulations to her. And I hope to see many more. We need fresh people all around.
Yeah, yeah.
Different perspectives.
Typically, I would chime in on that, but I'm not going to for this episode.
Mr. Payan.
Yes.
Payan?
Yes, Payan.
Payan.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little background about yourself?
All right. Well, I started off work-wise as an electrician for about 8 years, and then swing into doing floors.
Huh?
So I'm
right up our alley, this guy.
Yeah.
I'm in Local 13.
Oh, you're with the union?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Built a few projects around town. I have, legal-wise, I've been tied up due to my own reasons all throughout my life, probably with the court systems. I've dealt with a lot of different lawyers as well.
Okay.
And so I'm not a rookie to the justice system in Las Vegas. Right. So, and I'm honestly just a guy wanting to clean my life up. And at this point, this happens with Todd Leventhal. And I mean, it's put me in a bind.
So, tell us about it. You come knocking on his door to hire.
Well, okay. So from the beginning, I was introduced to Todd through a friend of mine who had been represented by him before in the past.
Did a good job, apparently, because I was going to refer you.
And so I looked him up a little bit to see what he was all about, and it looked good on paper. So I went for the introduction and explained to him what I was up against, and he told me he wanted $10,000 for the retainer. Mm-hmm. And if it was to go to trial, he wanted $20,000. And all of it was to be paid before trial started.
And what was your case about?
Well, it was a burglary case. And
were you the perpetrator?
No, I was pretty much in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, so you were not the victim.
No.
So you were a friend of the perpetrator.
I was helping. Yeah, it's kind of a detailed story. I was helping a friend, and then that.
How were you helping the friend? Driving the car? Or what?
No. I was carrying boxes.
Actually. Oh, you helped him unload?
It was a girl. Yeah.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah. So I mean, it was. There's everything made sense to where I didn't know. I honestly I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I took the guilty plea because I was.
What was the charge that you pled guilty to?
A burglary.
First offense?
Yes.
Did you have a record prior to that burglary?
Yes, but not for burglaries.
What type of record do you have?
It's not. I'm not saying I'm a model
Well,
citizen.
I get it. But I want people to,
right.
you come out and you
right.
honest with the listeners and the viewers.
Right. Well,
and
like I said, I've had several dealings with the court systems, and it all stems from theft crimes.
Okay. So you're not a model citizen.
Right. But I mean, I'm at the point, okay, I'm now 2 prison terms in.
Okay. You did time.
Yeah.
How much time did you do?
I've done 2 years on 2 separate cases. Okay. So two trips to prison.
So are you a registered felon?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what made you want to come and because apparently you know what we do.
Right.
So what made you want to come on our program and?
It was the last thing I was expecting to come across my plate. The opportunity to come and talk about this, because literally, like, everything that I've done up to this point has fallen on deaf ears, and I haven't wanted to rock the boat too much in hopes that this guy give me back.
Well, just let me just say, for full disclosure, although you might have mishaps in your life and you did things you probably want to take back.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean people should take advantage of you and commit crimes on you because you're not a model citizen.
I completely agree with that. 2 wrongs don't make a right at this point. I mean, I took the guilty plea on this.
Okay.
In the long run, when I didn't have to.
Okay.
And I went and got retained, so I go and I get the introduction with Todd, and he tells me it's $10,000 for this and $20,000 for trial, and I'm like, okay, well, I think this could be settled before.
Did he take you through the preliminary in justice court?
He did not. Level? Yeah. So I had the first attorney I had got ended up not showing up for me, calendar call for trial.
He didn't show up for you?
Right.
Who's this attorney?
Well, yeah, I don't want to bad blood this guy because I understand he was going through some things.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
I was gonna say, it doesn't. They took an oath.
The first guy and he was,
for example, like you joined the military, you took an oath.
Right.
You can't all of a sudden become a conscientious objector.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Right. So the first guy I went and hired, and I had him paid in complete all the way through trial. So I was like, I'm set. I got my representation I'm going to go with.
Right.
Michael Pandulo.
Okay. Was
that first attorney.
And I'm sure he didn't fulfill his obligation of the payment you provided?
I didn't get anything back from him.
Did you do a fee dispute with the state bar? Did you request your money back?
I'm not even pushing into that area because I got to know Michael on a personal level.
Gotcha.
And I get it. Like, he was much cheaper than Todd Leventhal. I will say that much.
Well, you get what you pay for sometimes.
Right. Well, this wasn't like a slam dunk for me to be able to get off on this case, but it was. I mean, if it came to trial, the jury, I don't think it would have been a hard decision for them to acquit me on it. But not having a private attorney, at the point where I had to go find another attorney. Okay. The courts appointed me a court-appointed attorney, which I didn't.
So you had a public defender?
Well, he was a court-appointed attorney. Well, not a public defender.
Okay. Private sector, court-appointed.
Yes, he paid by the state.
Okay.
And I wasn't comfortable with the guy. So I even told him, I said, hey, look, don't get too much into this because I'm going to get private counsel.
Right.
And which was a mistake of my mind by saying that. So
you hired Todd.
So I go and I get the introduction with Todd, and I'm like, yeah, that's who I want.
Okay.
It sounds like he knows the right people, because in this town it's like who you know, and how good of friends are they, like that. And Todd seemed like the guy to go with, so we made an agreement that I was going to be paying toward a $10,000 retainer originally. Okay. And payments were to start immediately. And I believe probably within 2 or 3 days, I came in with a $2,200 payment. And the understanding was that I was going to make payments along the way. We were going to have the court-appointed attorney handle all the court proceedings up to the point where it was time to play ball with the DA. And he said, okay, I'll come in and I'll sign on when the time is right. Okay. Now, when the time is right, big gray area.
I know. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Right. You know,
I'm not even sure this is legal, by the way.
It probably in the long run wasn't, because
I've never heard of this before, but go ahead.
yeah,
Pay me, and you have monthly payments, and I'll come in when the time is right.
Right. And so somebody else is doing the legwork. So the taxpayers are doing the legwork.
Right.
And then I'll come in, but you need to pay me prior.
Right. And I was confident
meantime,
that he could get the outcome that I was looking for.
Right.
And
What were you looking for? To be acquitted?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Charges
get that outcome?
No.
Okay.
No. So along the way, and this is going on for like three years now.
Really?
This case, because of me having to let the one attorney Pandulo go, and
But you have a right to a speedy trial.
you're right. I waived that. I waived that. And so let's see. So I let Pandulo go. I figure out Todd's who I want to go with.
So you let Pandula go. You got this pro bono attorney.
Right. State appointed. Right.
And then you got Leventhal on
Like,
shelf.
yeah, he's like on standby, like off. He's not signed on to my case.
But he signed on to your money, though.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They took every time I showed up to give him money, they took it.
Yeah.
And so one of the times I showed up, he was out leaving the office for the day, and he gives me a receipt on a Post-it, literally like on a little Post-it, handwritten, with the amount.
So where was his office? Out of a tent on Fremont?
Right. His office was right there, but he still gave me the receipt with the Post-it, because I believe it was because his secretaries were gone. Maybe he didn't know how to fill out a receipt.
Did you pay him in cash?
Everything was cash. Everything was cash.
Bad move.
Right. Not everything was cash, because I did give him, it was about $1,800 one time, and it was in a cashier's check,
Right.
which is cash,
Right.
almost,
Yeah.
But
Did
yeah.
he request it?
He
You
would have taken probably like
credit card?
yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the way that I handle my financial business. It's cash.
Okay.
And so the one time, he gives me the Post-it receipt. That one's not in the logbook of where the secretaries usually go to and give me a copy of it.
Right. Yeah.
And so by the time I figure out, hang on, let me back up. Along the way of this 3-year case, it must have been like 20 court dates that I had. I was going to court all the time, and I didn't miss a single one up until...
Who's the judge?
Villani at this point.
Mike Villani?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And very formal type of judge. He requires everything to be filed with, nothing's, like on the spur of the moment, like type deal. I understand that. So I miss a court date. And to be honest, I didn't miss that court date.
Did you have legal representation at the court?
That time I
did not.
I want to say that I was in the midst of like trying to get Todd to come in and sign on like completely. Like, come on, Todd. Like I've given you this much money.
How much did you give him total?
$7,100.
Okay.
And he.
So you gave him $7,100 before he ever appeared or filed any motions for you?
Okay, so no,
Okay.
I agreed, or we made the agreement that he was going to represent me come the right time, and he made one appearance to.
What is the right time? What does that mean?
I don't know. I took it as the right time would be when you get to 10,000. That's what I understood that to be,
okay.
And so. I missed a court date, but I didn't really miss it because I was in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And
what do you mean you were in the crowd?
I was in the pew.
Oh.
And when they called my name, I didn't like stand up.
Why didn't you say something?
I'm not.
Just say,
I'm
represented by attorney. I'm waiting for my counsel.
Now, at the time, I was about to let Pandulo go. Pandulo represented me on the very last time. I got arrested leaving the courtroom because I had some child support warrants, whatever. And it was two particular like cops that
I didn't know it was you.
Well, I don't know. But they
Because you don't show no ID when you walk into the courthouse.
right, I know. And maybe they came up
unless they saw your name on the case and
right.
then they were waiting for you.
They claimed that I came up on a hit list of warrants and people going to court, and but I think what it was is because I was taking things to trial, and
Right.
you know, they knew I had warrants. Maybe it did a check on me. I don't know. I got arrested, and so
In front
now
of the judge?
day-
Did you get arrested in front of the judge?
yeah. At that point, it was in the lower level. I was being bound over to district, and as I was leaving the courtroom,
Did you get arrested in front of Alani?
no.
So you got arrested in front of a justice of the peace?
Right. The lower level judge. I think it was
who was
Garza.
that?
Garza. Melissa Garza.
Saragoza.
Okay. She's the lower level judge. You know, she makes you sign the deal or bound you over to the district. So I got arrested that day, and I only did 10 days. You know, 10 days for child support. And but on this particular day that I missed court in Villani's courtroom, I see the two same guys sitting over to the left. Bad decision on my part to not just eat that 10 days up and go do 10 days again if they were there to pick me up. So I just I just left.
The two guys, who were that?
The two cops that were in,
that
arrested
locked
me.
you up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And stopped me as I was leaving court. And so I made a bad decision of just getting up and walking out the courtroom and leaving it into like, okay, I'm going to get Leventhal to show up, and I'm going to talk to him and get him to show up, and he'll excuse these warrants. So now
who you thought was going to excuse the warrants?
Well, if I have Leventhal going in and saying like, hey, he missed this court date because of whatever, and he gives his word, then I was confident that they would have squashed the warrant and put me back on calendar without having to put me in jail. Okay. So I couldn't get a hold of him, couldn't get him to like even answer a phone call at this point. And I get picked up like a month later for now it's felony bench warrants on the case. And it looks horrible, you know, felony bench warrants. I knew I was going to jail. And so now I'm in jail on that case and going to court the first time. I see Villani's not wanting to let me out, not wanting to give me an opportunity to explain why I missed court or anything. And so I was basically stuck in jail until the case was settled in court, and until I took a plea, basically.
How long were you in jail for?
About 130 days.
So you were in jail for 130 days. You took a plea of what?
Guilty.
Guilty on
burglary. Yeah, Class B felony.
And you're saying that you gave $7,100 to Todd Leventhal.
Right.
And he didn't do anything on your case, is what I'm hearing. Because apparently you took a plea deal with the district attorney's office, right?
I took a plea deal with the court-appointed attorney that they had for me. Okay. And the guy that I really wasn't wanting to represent me, he actually ends up being my savior on the case, though. Because once I went and I told the courts, look, okay, I'm going with this guy because I'm forced to. Leventhal wasn't answering any phone calls by my mom, like all my family. I had friends calling him, no answer. I know it's just weird, like how the phone just rings at that point. I can't get anything.
It wasn't ringing so much when you were giving him the money, right?
Oh no, it was all open hands.
Yeah.
And
picked up your call right away.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
And so I guess every time that I had called his office, you know, he's just jotting it down, like take another check, another call, so he claims. And so now I get set up on probation, and the deal that I had signed originally was...
It sounds like you should have took that $7,100 and paid his court-appointed attorney with it.
Oh, man. I mean, the court-appointed guy actually ended up doing a lot more than I was expecting. An investigator was assigned to the case, and they started digging into this evidence, and there was the lack of evidence is what I saw. And so I was willing to go to trial even with that guy. But they came, and I mean, it's just a smarter decision to take. And it wasn't even a deal of probation. I was to be done as soon as I come back to court for sentencing. And I got in the details of my plea agreement. You know, it was just, that's not how it was worded.
So Robert, what's the lesson learned here?
man, you know, it's hard. It's a hard one to avoid because I was looking for a top-notch attorney on this case because I'm at the point in just my legal history where like I need good representation. You know, you got to look into if you're going to hire somebody, if you're going to hand money over, do a little bit more than just checking online about the guy.
So let me just recap this whole thing. So in case somebody's just coming on.
Yeah.
So you got picked up for a Class B felony.
Right.
Burglary.
Right.
Okay. You did some time in jail on that.
I did.
You're not a model citizen to begin with, right?
Right.
You have a criminal history.
Well, I got a history,
for burglary
and ask me, I'm a good dude, but
and child support and all that,
right?
And the court gave you a court-appointed attorney,
right?
But before the court-appointed attorney, you had this other guy, right? This other attorney. Right. Then you got rid of him.
Well, I was forced to because he stopped showing up.
He stopped showing up, so he was a no-show. Should have did a few dispute on him. But anyways, you paid him some money, but you didn't get anything back from him. Right. And then you got this court-appointed attorney, right?
Right.
But you really wasn't gelling with him, so you went and hired Leventhal. He wanted $10,000. You're making payments. Most of it is cash. You gave him $7,100. Leventhal wasn't returning your call, wasn't showing up for court, didn't write a motion, didn't write a brief. No. The only thing he gave you was a post note saying that you paid X amount of dollars.
Right. Every time I gave the cash over, he would give me a receipt. The office ladies would usually give me official receipt.
Right. But he gave you a post note because there was nobody there. So he says. So he doesn't have access to any of that, right? His office, right?
Right.
So so you got picked up and you did 100 and something days.
130 days.
30 days in jail.
Right.
CCDC?
Yeah.
And this court-appointed attorney became your savior.
Right.
And got you out, got you a plea deal, right?
Right.
But this $7,100 you gave Leventhal, he hasn't done anything for that $7,100.
So I get out of jail. And within like a day or two, I'm at his office,
right?
Saying like,
"Where's my money?
What happened, man? I thought you guys were gonna like represent me." Mm-hmm. And
did you sign a retainer?
You know, I did. I did sign some paperwork, and it was paperwork that said I was going to be indebted to them for $20,000, and it's to be paid before trial. If it was to go to trial, I was confident it wasn't going to trial. Mm-hmm. So I went looking for my money as soon as I got out of jail.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Payan.
Mm-hmm.
The burglary that you did with a friend of yours, was it worth it?
Oh, no. Not at all.
Wasn't worth it?
Not at all. I lost a friend.
Lost a friend.
I lost a friend that I thought was my friend.
You lost $7,100 with Leventhal, another, how much with the other guy?
About
$5,000 with the other guy. And you lost a lot of time sitting in jail and plus going back and forth to court.
Oh, yeah.
Stress, aggravation, criminal records, going to probably mess you up for employment or to rent an apartment or what have you.
Right.
So
completely not worth it. Completely not worth it.
Did you leave anything out, or did I leave anything out? Did we?
I kind of wanted just to touch on a little bit of like just the character of Todd Leventhal.
Sure.
You know, so I get out of jail, and it was right around the time where the COVID was just getting like warmed up.
April.
And so everything comes to lockdown, and now Leventhal's claiming like, oh man, we're not even working. Let us wait until everything gets back open again, and we get going, and then come talk to me about my refund. You know, he's clearly admitting that he's going to give me a refund and that I'm owed a refund.
Do you know they're not supposed to touch that money?
Absolutely, I know
that money is supposed to sit in a trust.
Absolutely.
And then he's supposed to eat at it as he does things for you. He's not supposed to spend it at all.
Well, he's claiming at this point that I was pushing up pretty like strong on him about giving me my money or giving me. He wasn't even giving me an answer. This is what caused me to like call his office day after day because he wasn't even responding.
Okay.
So he does at some point acknowledge that a refund is going to be there.
What type of refund did he say?
No, at that point he didn't. Now, he made one appearance into court for me, so I'm not going to say he did absolutely nothing.
That's about how long was he there for?
5 minutes.
That's
And
about
it
like
was
a
simply
$200 deal.
Right. Well, even for him, $500, I would have given him $500 even. I'll give him $1,000 even.
Oh, that's way too much.
Oh, I know it is, because he went in there and he just goes.
Probably had to be there anyway in the courthouse.
Right. Well, he said, give Mr. Payan some time to get his finances in order, and we're just asking for a continuance. That was all he did for my case.
Okay. So how did you try to get your money back from him?
So getting out of jail, I went in and was like, hey man, we need to talk about like a refund. I know that everything's not owed, or I'm not expecting everything,
Right.
So I wasn't expecting that. Like later on down the road, he starts to claim like, just make false accusations about what happened. But I know I don't deserve everything back. I would be happy with like 4,000 of it back.
Really?
I know, believe me, I know. And that I felt at that time I was getting off still good, in a good position, giving him a good chunk for doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But as time's gone on, I've gotten worse and worse reaction from him. I've had him call me up, and like this was very concerning to me. He asks me if I knew what he had accomplished recently in court. Like, I'm not paying attention to him like that. So I don't know. And he begins to tell me how he just got off somebody for murder, an MS-13.
What does that have to do with you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right. He said, yeah, I got
so
my...
he's proving himself to you after he took your money.
Right.
Yeah. Did he use the guy that he got off from MS-13? Did he use his money, your money, as for his retainer?
I mean, who knows what he probably used it for.
Did he send you an invoice?
He did not.
He didn't send you a list of what he did for that money?
He hasn't.
Did you request one?
Whenever he said, let me go back in and ask my girls to total up what you paid, and then I'll go and I'll make my list of what hours I put in on your case.
Hours?
That's
Not like
what
5
he
minutes.
said. I know.
Mm-hmm. So this is after the fact, though, because
Yeah, his case is already done now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I shouldn't put my business out like this, but I will anyway, just so that we kind of get the story. Like, I've had to retain an attorney, and I've never had an attorney not give me an itemized list.
Mm-hmm. Right.
From exactly
at this point, it was off the record. It was off the record. And so now at this point, he can claim anything. He can claim every phone call he's going to charge me for. And he made the threat of, I'm going to charge you for every phone call that you did, and we're just going to eat up that money until it's gone. And then,
You mean the phone calls he ignored?
I don't know. I doubt he was keeping track of those, but just the ones where they answered, I don't know.
Okay. So what type of action have you did to recover your funds?
I wrote him a formal letter saying like, hey, look.
A 10-day demand?
Right.
Okay.
And
what were you asking for in that 10-day demand?
For my refunded money.
$7,100.
Yeah.
Total.
At that point, I'm going for everything.
Right. Yeah. Did you know you could get interest on it? I think it's 1.9. It probably went up.
Man.
Since I stopped doing collections. But I used to do collections for a living.
Well, I'm stuck right now in a spot where I don't even know what to do.
Well, I'll tell you what to do. You need to file a complaint with the Nevada State Bar.
A fee dispute?
Yeah, beyond fee dispute.
Right.
I mean, he didn't give you an itemized bill.
He did not.
He didn't. You requested an itemized bill, right?
Well, he told me he was going to make one.
Okay. He never gave you one.
Never.
So he never gave you an itemized bill. You asked for your money countless times. He showed up 5 minutes to court for you, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do a state bar complaint against him.
And in the letter, I threatened that, hey, look.
No, don't threaten.
However he's going to take it. I said, look, I'm going to go to the bar if you don't refund my money. Right. And he called me up irate. I'm beyond irate.
Yeah, he's trying to scare you. It's called an intimidation tactic.
Right. And he's even made threats to go to my sentencing judge and tell them all
So
about
now it's
me.
extortion. You need to put all that in your
I'm going to. I'm going
And if you have any evidence, any text messages, any emails,
Right.
anything, you need to itemize exactly what took place from the day you saw that man
Right.
until the last time you had communication with him.
Right. It was up till last week. Last week he
Now,
he made a phone.
if you did something like that, and people that fall in the same position as you, maybe this guy wouldn't be so felt that he could win a district court seat because he doesn't want his skeletons out there.
Right. Now, I'm not too sure this guy cares about the skeletons. The thing that made me look you guys up was an article that I'm not too sure who wrote the article, but it was
probably Steve.
about how he was not in it to win it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
remember
that got my eyes like on it, and so I read more
Uh-huh.
about the reviews that had been on him and how some shady things that he's done before, like really shady things, trying to take somebody's house from them.
Usually when there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
And you're not the only victim.
Right. Well, I know. But if people have questioned my...
But here's the thing, Mr. Payan.
Yeah,
If you don't do anything, you're creating more victims.
absolutely. And
So you need to do something. You need to promise us that you're going to file a state bar complaint against this guy, so somebody else will become a victim.
Oh, I promise I will.
And what time frame are we looking at?
Like probably tomorrow I'll start.
Okay.
He knows that I've already made that claim. Like, hey, look, I'm gonna do this if you don't give me my money back. And last week I did get a call from him last week, and he said, no, I'm sorry, it was a text message. It was a text message, and verbatim, exactly what he told me. This is what this guy is about.
You need to screenshot all those text messages and put it as part of your complaint.
And I've never made any threats to this guy.
But he's going to claim you did. He's going to use your criminal background against you.
He can.
That's
That's
what
just
they
his
do.
nature of his business, is lying. But he tells me just last week, he said, and I'm referring to him not answering my phone calls and because I was trying to schedule a time, like, hey, look, when's a good time to come down and talk about this?
Right.
What a refund? And he goes, no, I'm not ignoring you. He says, no, the idea that I'm ignoring you. He says, I have got no reason to ignore you, tough guy. And he says, next week. So
when people use that, they're just trying to.
You're a tough guy. Huh?
yeah, I've never made any physical threat to this guy.
That's what they're trying to do.
And
He's probably going to try to get a restraining order against you for some made up reason.
and if he did that, I'm not looking to go around this guy. I would like some money back.
Yeah.
Whether at this point, like I would appreciate just $1,000 of it back.
Really?
At this
You're
point,
just too nice.
I don't believe I am.
I got projects to do.
But what I
Go
feel
for the full amount, and if
I'm not even
go for
claiming.
the full amount, and if you only want 1,000 of it, you can donate.
I mean, at this point, I'd be happy.
Donate it.
I mean, I'd be happy with 1,000, just because I'm sure that he's not going to willingly give any of it back.
You need to file a fee dispute and let it be known that you want the normal interest rate for your money
Right.
to be added onto the amount of monies that he owes you.
Okay.
So I mean, back when I was doing it was 1.9 a month. I think it's like 3 something now. interest
Right,
rate.
because my money should technically be sitting in
a trust.
some
So
account.
he should be getting interest off of your
Right.
money.
Well, and when I first got out of jail, he made the claim that the money that I had paid wasn't there. He had rent, and he had people to pay in his office.
You need to put that in there and make it clear that money is supposed to be in the attorney's trust,
Right.
not to be used. You need to put that in your complaint.
Right.
Because if he's telling you he's using it to pay his personal bills, that's a violation all by itself.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what he's claimed.
All right, Mr. Payan, could you just look into the camera and tell folks, with your personal experience, just sum it up, how not to vote for this guy and not to end up where you are right now?
Well, as you've heard, that's my experience with this guy, and he's...
Use his name, please.
Todd Leventhal is not the candidate to vote for judge. He's not even the lawyer to hire, in my opinion, at this point. He's out for himself. He's done shady things to me. And like I would strongly suggest to not hire this guy even as an attorney, let alone vote for to be district court judge.
Okay. Well, Mr. Payan, thank you for coming on the program. We appreciate you coming on and putting your face out there.
Yeah, no problem.
And letting people see and stepping up to the plate and really paying attention to this election, because it's very important.
Right.
All elections are important.
Right.
But with all 52 district court judge seats that was up for grabs in the primary, it's important to pay attention to these judicial races. Folks, that's Robert Payan. He was discussing the unethical, the misrepresentation, and the theft of judicial candidate for district court, Todd Leventhal. And folks, I don't know what's going on with this group of judicial candidates we have this cycle. Sometimes going down the line, we got to pick the less of the two evils, which is unfortunate. And a lot of these candidates are these incumbent judges that are running unopposed. That needs to stop, because the only way to get rid of a judge is at the ballot box. So we need to pay more attention to these judicial candidates. We need to make something that's going to have the people vote on judges that are running unopposed to either retain or remove. And we need to get that done expeditiously. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.